Hey, I'm at the YMCA. I'll walk around for a minute, see, let people come on, say hello. It is a slightly chilly, what is this, Tuesday evening here in Santa Monica. One of the libraries across the street right there, big pretty library. And at the YMCA. Okay, so I don't have long. I'm going to jump in. I was trying to do this while I had a little bit of sunlight still. As you can see, freshly out of the shower, running a few errands. And I'm trying to live up to what I said I was going to do, I don't know, a couple weeks ago and probably a couple of months ago too, which is post more regularly. And, you know, for a long time I was like, what am I going to post about? Because I'm not on a beach, you know, it's just regular. But I think that's what it is. It's like just posting about regular life, because that's an adventure too, as I'm sure you all know. That could be a crazy adventure and challenging and everything else. So, and what I have been kind of focusing on, I guess you could say dealing with lately, is, hi everybody, I see people jumping on, hi. Oh, hi Kenny, thank you, wow. Thank you, it's a nice compliment. What I've been really noticing is that, this is, by the way, it's me, no makeup, no filter, nothing. Life is hard sometimes, right? And so I've been managing, being back in the US, I mean, it's been a couple years now, but still all the, like, the stress of the economy and just all the things that go along with living in a country like this one. Raising a teenage boy, that's fun. And he is delightful at times, but he's also in that, like, I'm the man kind of phase, you know what I mean? Trying to, like, exert himself, which is in some ways appropriate, like, developmentally, but also it's a pain in the butt sometimes. When I'm like, just do the thing. Like, just today we were talking about, you know, one of his classes at school that he's not enjoying, and so he's like, kind of turned off. And I'm like, look, you're not going to love every teacher, you're not going to love every class, but you have to do it, right? One of the things I tell him is make yourself a small target. Don't be that kid who's like popping off in class or having an attitude or those kinds of things. I'm like, you know, do what you have to do to get through it. Yeah, but what if she says this to me? What if she says that? I was like, what's your objective? Get through class, get your job done. You know what I mean? Get a good grade, move on. So we were having that conversation. But beyond that, whether you're a parent or not, I mean, it's just very difficult sometimes to, hi everybody, I see you saying hello there. Hi Ray and Prafula, did I get that right? Prafula? It's just challenging. And oftentimes, you know, like on social media, people put their pictures up of like when they're looking really great. Like no one would ever come on with no makeup and no filter and just like super regular. You know, they post like the beautiful vacation or the perfect family or the happy couple or look at my pretty house, my pretty car. No one ever posts, usually that I see, today was a terrible day, right? I feel awful. Life is hard right now. I don't have enough money or whatever. People post what they want you to see. It's all totally curated. And so I feel like, screw that. Let's talk about some real stuff when it's not always like that, because a lot of times it's not. And so what do you do? So, I mean, there's lots of different things that we can work on and we can try to do. And as I told you guys last time, I've begun to read this book, which I'm loving, called, I should get a plug for this. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the chat with all my little Amazon affiliate account, since this is all free. If you buy this book, and I do highly recommend it, you know, I'll get like 2 pennies or something, so we'll see. But anyway, it's called Becoming Supernatural. You see that? By Joe Dispenza. It's really good, and I'm a little bit farther than I was last time. Not that much farther ahead. Maybe a little bit more than that, actually. But it's really good, and it talks about, so the title Becoming Supernatural really has to do with how we can essentially wrangle our minds to behave in the way that we want them to, so that then we avail ourselves of all these things that are out there, like what's possible in the world. And the truth is that really anything is possible. Like, you wonder sometimes how you see people who maybe don't have the background or don't come from a family of wealth or don't come, you know, aren't beautiful or aren't super smart or whatever, but they still achieve all these things. And you're like, well, what is going on? And you yourself may be beautiful and smart and come from an amazing family and have lots of money, but you're struggling to get to whatever point. Oh, India and Goa. Oh, wonderful. I'd love to go to India at some point. I would really like to visit there. So it's like, well, what is that, right? And if you have ever tried meditation, and I've many, many times tried it and done it, you know that initially it feels like this is ridiculous because it's just like your mind has gone haywire. It is not behaving. You know, that thing about sit and like think of nothing, that's virtually impossible. Like, how do you think of nothing? Because instantly everything comes up, like your stuff you have to do, something you said to somebody, somebody said something to you, and just all this kind of stuff, right? It just is bananas. And you're like, okay, I must be doing something wrong. You're not. That's actually the process. And so it's like, but I think it's developing the discipline to come back time and again, even in the same session, and okay, go back to like, all right, let me just say focus on your breath. Or in this case with Joe Dispenza, he talks about like imagining yourself in space, like the blackness of space, just that kind of stuff. But basically you don't give up. You just keep coming back and coming back and coming back to it. And eventually you will find that your mind finally goes, okay, fine, and will give up. And then you get to go through to, all right, now here's like that blank space that we're trying to get to, where you really can create whatever it is you want. So if you want to, you know, call in abundance, everyone's always looking for abundance and money and stuff, then you can do it from that space. But you can't do it if you're jumping all over the place and you can't really sit still. You know, we expect kids to sit still in class all the time, but we can't sit still. We cannot be still mentally. I think that's why meditation is so hard for so many people, is because it requires us to do something that is kind of unnatural, right? That's why it's called supernatural. So we have to go beyond, above and beyond what is natural for us. And to have a quiet mind is frankly not natural in this day and age, where everything is like, you know, 2-second, or what is it, like a 30-second soundbite, or a TikTok, or a Snapchat, or, you know what I mean? Like everything's so fast, microwave. And I don't have a microwave in my home, for the record. And my son is like, what is wrong with you? Why don't we have a microwave? And I'm like, well, I feel like it causes harmful this and that. And he's like, Mom, that's ridiculous. It also just happens to be that I prefer the taste of food that is cooked and warmed in an oven, because that's like, it's thoroughly heated, right? But it's like, oh my God, I have to wait 10 minutes for the thing to warm up. Yeah, well, yeah. And so our whole society is, at least this Western society, is built upon everything happening quick, you know. So now it's text messages, because we can't be bothered to like sit on the phone and wait for the phone to ring and have a conversation, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these different things. And so no wonder that when we try to get still and meditate, it feels nearly impossible. But I'm telling you that there's a key there, and I am determined, people, to get through to this place where my mind is like subservient to me and not me, you know, following it around like a mad dog on a leash, like trying to, you know, and you try to break in a horse and they're bucking all over the place, and it's like, this is crazy, why am I doing this? But eventually you keep getting on, and that horse will, you know, finally stop and let you ride it and train it about, you know, how to go left, right, whatever. It's the same kind of concept. So I'm in the process of this. I will say, I think I've been meditating like every day now for a week or so, which for me is like monumental, because first of all, it took me forever to even get to that point where I was trying, and then to be consistent about it. So I'm trying, like when I wake up in the morning, before I, you know, don't reach for your phone, that instant gratification thing, like that addiction to like, what's the email say, whatever, what does this say, you know, like just have, if it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can carve out, and just do some type of meditation. And you can certainly go on YouTube, for example. I like to play sometimes like music I can meditate to, or even like sometimes it'll be a guided meditation. Joe Dispenza has them to kind of walk you through, you know, helping you stay still. Some people don't like that. Some people just want total silence. It's up to you. And you may find that as you get into it, your preferences change. But I'm determined to you know, put a saddle on this crazy horse in my mind, because I don't want to be frustrated by not being able to achieve the things that I want, simply because my mind is out of control. And really, that's the only reason that anything can't happen, is because I'm not, managing, I'll just say, I'm not managing the power I have, the energy I have in the right way. I'm not channeling it, let's say. I'm not channeling it in a way that is beneficial to me so I can get what I want to. So by now, you guys have all heard the law of attraction and manifesting. Everyone talks about that, right? And you may have heard them say, well, you have to be on the same vibration as abundance, or the same vibration as love, or whatever it is that you call. That you have to be on that same vibration. Well, what does that mean, and how do you get there? I mean, so you can there have been analogies like, okay, like if you want to hear jazz music, let's say on the radio station, you turn into 102.9 or whatever the jazz station is, right? If you want to hear rock music, you turn to 98.6 or whatever that station is. So you match the vibration. Are you guys there still? Is it going? I don't know if you're there. Somebody tell me if you can still see me. My phone just froze for a minute. Are you there? Somebody give me a high sign or a heart or something. Push the like button. Something. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking as if you can still hear me because my timer is ticking. Can someone send me a message if you can still hear me? Hello? Is anybody out there? Oh no, I was just getting to the good stuff. Okay, well, I'm gonna talk. Oh, you can hear me, great. Okay, thank you, Nicole. So what was I saying? Oh shoot. Talking about meditation and shoot, now you tell me where I left off. What was I saying? Hi, Melvin. You guys, now after all that, happy Valentine's Day, almost, tomorrow. Oh, the frequency, that's right. So you tune into the frequency, right? So if you want to hear jazz music or classical or whatever, you have to turn to the right dial on your radio or digitally, what have you. It's the same thing with our minds. If we want to attract abundance or love or happiness or peace, we have to be on the same frequency as peace. Well, what does that even mean, frequency of peace? Because here's the thing, in the big old universe, in the blackness of space, there is information that's transmitted through vibrations, like radio waves, you can think of it. And the information may be information about love. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it because it gets kind of scientific, but essentially you have to match the vibration of whatever it is that you want to attract. Well, how do you do that? You cannot do it with your mind jumping all over the place and thinking about, your grocery list or the argument you had with somebody or the traffic that's so bad, or, you've got to get to a place where your mind really can be still and kind of blank. And then you set that intention like, okay, you know what, I want to have a job that I really enjoy, that pays me more money, where I have flexibility, and then you can list kind of the things that you want. And there's a whole process. It is beautifully described in this book. I'm telling you, I'm going to put the link down. Order the book, but don't order it yet. Please order it from my link. And it makes perfect sense. And frankly, that's why I want to read this book, because it is making meditation make sense in a way that I've never heard it explained before. It really tells you not just the how, but the why, like what is happening when we quiet our minds. Oh, okay, then it opens up this whole blank slate of possibility. And you can program that blank slate with whatever you want. And then, lo and behold, oh my gosh, guess what I just happened to run into today? Just what I just happened to, these sort of coincidences or synchronicities start to happen. It's not coincidence. It's not synchronous randomly. It's that we have created it, right? You know how sometimes you're thinking about somebody, just like maybe you're daydreaming, whatever, and all of a sudden the phone rings, like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. Same kind of thing, right? Or you're imagining something, you're like, wow, I drive down the street, you have a taste for tacos or whatever it may be, and then boom, you pass this place and it smells really good. What do you know? They're selling tacos. It's connecting the dots, the invisible vibrational dots. Hope that makes some sense. So anyway, the reason I decided to go ahead and appear with no makeup and basically fresh out of the shower, wet hair and all that, is because I feel like it's important to just be real. We don't always have to dress up and pretty up and present it's not really a false image, because I'm also real when I do look prettier, but I think it's fine to just be who we are without having to put on airs and put on layers of, not just makeup, right, because this applies to men too, but you don't have to go out of your way to create a false self. Just be who you are. I think we'd be a lot more comfortable in general and in the world, right, with everybody, if we were just who we really were, including when we're not doing great, like when your money is crazy and you don't know how you're going to pay the bills, or you are struggling with a relationship, or maybe you have an addiction, or maybe you have, the list of things that anybody can think of. And I think that the more that we are willing to share that with each other, then, it's less of a stigma, it's less of a problem, more people are like, okay, I'm willing to talk about it and find a way to kind of get through it. And like I said, what I'm recommending right now, certainly as a first step, but hopefully as a long-term step that you guys embrace, is meditation and there's lots of different resources. There's free resources online. YouTube is a great one. There's lots of other ones. You may have a class in your area. It's up to you, but I highly, highly recommend that you check it out and find out like how it can benefit you. I'll come back another time and go more into sort of what I've been experiencing. I have had some moments where I feel like, oh my gosh, I've kind of connected to that like blank slate space. It's very momentary because I am having to like wrangle this monkey in my head, this horse that's bucking and stuff. But I'm determined. I'm just going to keep going back and back and back. So I think that's about it for now. I'm going to go pick up my son in a little bit and head on in before it gets dark. I'm happy that as we get closer to springtime, it's now 5:35 in the evening, and as you can see, it's still light outside. We got sunshine, kind of, sort of. So that's it. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful to somebody. Let me know what you think. Send me a note, send me a comment. I'll put the link in the chat for the book. Check out the book. It's so good. Okay, bye. Mwah. Love you. Peace, everybody. Bye. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. Bye.